Media sources and means of communication remain similar for more than 100 years with only slow and steady advancements.
It looks more like a shoulder bag, really, than a proper telephone.
Next year, phones with cameras built in will arrive in the shops.
But with the advancement of mobile phones and the internet, the world changed drastically and rapidly in the mid-2000s.
We're going to make some history together today.
Yet, it was the rise of social media that made this technology so transformative.
We are very excited to announce we have 500 million active users on Facebook.
Today, over 5 billion people, 62% of the global population, are using social media daily, with an average of over 2 hours per day spent online. Social media has transformed into a platform for building communities, but also a space that highlights both the best and worst aspects of human interaction. We spoke to Simple Politics founder Tatton Spiller to get more context on how best to navigate the digital universe.
The wonderful thing about social and social media are the little communities that exist everywhere. You can find your people on social media, which is incredible. I mean, I'm bipolar, right? And so school was hard, and I certainly didn't have any of my people there. Whereas now I think people can feel a lot less alone, which is really lovely. I've got my own page on Instagram where I talk about my mental health and my mental illness, I suppose. And you've never seen anything like it. The people in my DMs, which aren't public, but also if I post, people will share their own stories and then support each other, sharing their own stories. And I'm getting emotional just talking about it. It's the most wonderful thing.
From local groups to niche interests of various kinds, social media has built communities around everything imaginable. Yet, this digital landscape also has a darker side, fueling a rise in mental health struggles, particularly among young people, with self-harm content still being prevalent online.
I'm not an idiot. I know that social media can be awful. There's a law that's been through Parliament about Molly, because Molly once searched for self-harming, suicide content on social media. And the algorithm went, this is what you want to see. And again and again and again she was shown this stuff. And then she took her own life. At its very worst, it is murderous. And the people, Zuckerberg, are inherently implicit in that death. You know, I think social media is a force for good, but I think it's quite a tight race because there's some pretty bad stuff.
Social media algorithms are designed to direct content it thinks will keep you engaged on any given platform, and some of this content is dangerous, some untrue, and other times both. While this technology brings customised experiences, it also deepens divisions and fuels misunderstandings in our increasingly connected yet fragmented world. So how do we manage it?
These people know so much about your life. They know who you're married to, but they also know who you fancy on the side. By really getting down to those 5 people that you want to reach specifically, you can say whatever message you want and no one else sees it. It's quite terrifying. In order to stay across that, I just followed what people term the mainstream media, because actually you've got lefties like the Mirror and the Guardian, and you've got righties like the Telegraph and the Mail. So within that, you've got quite a good framework. You see, it's not just fake news, because the same story can be reported in different ways. There was a speech not that long ago where Keir Starmer was at Labour Party conference.
The truth is that if we take tough, long-term decisions now, then that light at the end of this tunnel, that Britain that belongs to you, we get there much more quickly.
And I think the Guardian headline was light at the end of the tunnel, and the Telegraph headline was difficult choices. Neither one of them making up. They're just picking their focus. So even when we are solid and certain of the facts, they're still being portrayed differently. The most important thing about being online is to keep your critical thinking hat on. Never give up. Never think, oh, I'm going to be told, because it's the Wild West out there.
Commentators, media outlets and journalists offer varying perspectives of the world, each tailored to their own narrative. Tatton created Simple Politics to gather these varied views, strip away the complexity and present the issues in a clear and straightforward way. But is it possible to run a politics page without presenting a bias?
In 2015, I started Simple Politics because, well, partly because I'd had a breakdown. And I had a little shed in my then wife, my now ex-wife's garden. It's the breakdown. And I had a computer in there and I used to sit and try and tap away. But nobody was talking about policy and politics in a way that I thought was useful. I was a teacher when an education bill was going through Parliament and I didn't understand it. I was like, what's going on here? And I hit Google and I couldn't find any breakdown of what this bill would mean for me as a teacher. And I was like, that's wrong. Someone needs to be telling teachers what's in the teaching bill. Someone needs to be telling nurses what's in the nursing bill, right? So I set up SP to help people access that kind of information. I do no journalism. I go to no press conferences. I go to no disaster sites. I read about them on the BBC, on Sky, on the Telegraph, on the Times, on the Guardian, on whatever else. I'm filtering it for people. So there's no comparison. They're bigger and cleverer and richer than we are. We just do our thing. I run a politics page. There's lots of people online lying about politics, twisting politics, doing whatever about politics. I'm saying to you, no, I'm not doing that. I'm giving it to you straight. But then if you're intelligent, if you're thinking, you'll go, well, how can I trust you? Because all these other people are also saying the same things. And the answer is, there is nothing I can say to you now that should make you trust me. But you go to my page. You scroll and scroll and scroll. You can see years and years and years worth of posts where I'm just putting out, honestly, what I think's happening. I never tell you what to think. I never heck to you, tell you you're wrong. Just post after post after post after post. That's how you build trust. I think. I hope.
Social media is woven into the fabric of our daily lives, and it will exist in some form for the rest of human existence. While we may not control its presence, we still hold the power to decide how we choose to engage with it, and therefore how it will make us feel and react.
Social media is wonderful, and it's terrible. It's all human life. All human life is here. And it makes good things easier to do, and it makes bad things easier to do. I think there's always going to be people trying to call out whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, whether it's this or that. It is what it is. It is our job to respond to it now. Maybe at the beginning we could want to tweak social to adapt to us, but it's too big now. There will be some regulation coming down the line, but it's too big. We need to be thinking critically, and we need to be aware of its dangers and helping our young people, and maybe our old people, and maybe our people our age, helping people to understand its dangers and to mitigate for them and to use it for peace and love and all the good things it can offer.